Hello viewers, welcome to today's program, which focuses on everything to do with the Italian Dolce Vita. My journey begins in Modena because this is where a young artist lives who has made a name for himself as a sculptor. His career has not always been easy because his father's name is one of the most famous names in the world.
Lorenzo Quinn was born in Rome in 1966, the youngest son of the film star Anthony Quinn. Like father, like son, and from his childhood, Lorenzo soon learned to express himself artistically. Acting was his passion, but the fine arts became his vocation. Lorenzo Quinn has succeeded in establishing himself in the world of art without relying on his father. He studied at the Academy of Fine Arts in New York and subsequently as a sculptor discovered his individual style in symbol-oriented realism, always inspired by the wonders of the universe.
I like to talk about life in general. You see, we lost the sense of art, I think, in the past century, because now we have the radio, now we have the magazines, now we have the TV, and they tell the story. So artists don't know what to do and don't know what to talk about. So what I'd like to do is a little bit talk about the future, looking towards the past. So in my sculptures I try to tell a story. Each sculpture has a story. I never do sculpture just for purely aesthetical reasons. I don't believe art should be purely aesthetical. I believe it should say something. For example, Stairs of Life has a beautiful story.
This sculpture is a symbol for the different stages of life. It depicts our thirst for knowledge and the longing for money and success in younger years. The development is difficult and painful until one finally arrives near the top of the career ladder, rich and spoilt, and also, more often than not, cold, hard and calculating. Alone and abandoned, one enters the third stage of life and has to recognize how fragile life is and how quickly, if not careful, one can be left with only the broken fragments of happiness.
This one is called Hand of God, and this was from a poem that I read once and I loved it. It's about a man that was walking on the beach, and for each step, for each period of his life, he saw two footprints, one his and one God's. And but in the moment of need, in the moment of trouble, there was only one set of footprints. And he said to God, I don't understand why. You told me that you would always be beside me. But I've noticed that in the moments when I really needed you, the moments of need and trouble, there was only one set of footprints in the sand. Why did you leave me when I needed you the most? And God says, my son, my precious child, I would never leave you. In the moments of need, when you were in trouble, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you.
That's a very nice story. It seems that love is a main subject in your art.
Yes. It is, and because I believe in family values. I believe so not only in my family values, but also my present family, my future family, meaning my wife and my baby. And of course, love is a big part of that. Love and honesty. I have a sculpture called Adam and Eve, which has been, thank God, very successful. In fact, I made jewels from Adam and Eve too. It's about the man and the woman together and how one would be empty without the other and how one needs the other because we complement each other. And that's sure with my relationship with my wife. She really completes me, which is it's important.
Giovanna, a Venetian by birth and a former beauty queen and several-time Miss Universe, is the love of Lorenzo's life. They jet between New York, Italy and Spain with their two sons. This is Christopher, the eldest one. And they're a truly happy family, and not just in front of the camera. The little one, with the unmistakable Quinn imprint, is a delightful little chap, and, just like his father and grandfather, enjoys being the centre of attention. Lorenzo's profound love for his own family is very clear and is reflected in his sculptures. They all deal with the important things in life: birth and death, everyday experiences, God, love, and eroticism. Someone who must know how to appreciate this is the famous lady killer Anthony Quinn. What does father think of Lorenzo's sculptures?
He really loves my art. Honestly, he adores my art, and even though in the beginning it was very hard for me because I started with nothing, with only 2 or 3 sculptures, and I never wanted economical help from my father because I wanted to do it on my own. But whenever I needed him to be there for one of my openings, or I needed an appearance from him for anything, he was there for me, and he's always supported me, and that's more than I can ask for.
So Lorenzo, tell me, do you see yourself as an actor or more than a sculptor?
Well, Nathalie, I'll tell you, it's since I was a baby growing up, everybody expected me almost to be an actor because I looked so much like my father, and everybody said, "Oh, you're going to be such a perfect actor, such a wonderful actor, better than your father, this than your father, that than your father." So, I always had this, I had almost as a duty, I had to become an actor. But I tell you, I prefer sculpting in a way because sculpting is more direct. And also I like the direct contact with the people, and the fact that they can touch my sculptures and talk to me and ask me questions and me converse with them, and you meet so many wonderful people, and I get to travel so much. It's fantastic.
I heard that you're playing the role of your father in January, you told me?
Yes, he's doing a movie, a very important movie, and I play him young. I've done it before, though. I did a movie called Stradivarius, which was a beautiful movie. My first movie actually, in 1987. Wow, almost 8 years ago. That's a long time ago. Anyway, that's when I met Giovanna, my wife. But anyway, I did already. I played him when he was young, and now I'm going to do it again in another movie, and it's great. It's fantastic. Also, it's great because not being in the scene with him is easier for me. Because he's such a great actor that it would make me very small to be in the scene with him.
Even during his lifetime, Anthony Quinn has become a legend, with a reputation as a lady killer, and at the age of 80, he became a father for the 13th time.
Your father is known as a macho worldwide. You don't think that you're a macho?
Well, let me specify something. Macho, the real word macho in Mexican means man. So, but there are different interpretations of man. See, he was born in Mexico. He was born in 1915. And in 1915, it was different. For example, if you go to Arabia, you're allowed to have five wives. It's normal. But here, to have 5 wives at the same time, they think you're crazy, because it's not culturally accepted. So I live in a different era than my father. When he was brought up, it was different, and his culture accepts the way he is, because that's how it was. I'm different, it's a different era, and I have different ideals. I can't judge, and I can't judge what's better and what's worse. I just know that they're different. So the macho thing, I think, for me is a little bit past. Also because my wife would just hit me on the head and that'd be over.
Sculptures by Lorenzo Quinn are to be seen in countless high society residences. His art is in demand. It reminds one of the classical sculptures of the Italian masters. It also reflects the power of the modern time. But that's not the only explanation. Ultimately, it's Lorenzo's name which attracts people. Which of us wouldn't be proud to tell his acquaintances that he's the owner of a genuine Quinn? In Rome, where Lorenzo Quinn was born, and which is home to many other stars of the film and fashion world, we mingle with the tourists and experience for ourselves this fascinating city with all its historical and unique sights. Nowhere else in the world is the heritage of such an extensive history maintained with such painstaking care as in the Eternal City of Rome. The Airoli brothers are exemplary representatives in this regard. With great enthusiasm, they run the only existing ancient Gobelin workshop to rescue magnificent tapestries from decay. The dusty Airoli Gobelin weaving shop is a treasure trove of antique arts and crafts. Work done here is exclusively restoration work. Nobody nowadays can afford the luxury of a new tapestry. The last major order was 50 years ago for an Australian foreign minister. My grandfather founded the workshop in 1880. At that time, the papal restoration studios were closing down, and so Airoli took on the redundant Gobelin weavers. Their work now hangs in ministries and museums and in the Vatican. This company has been in the family for many generations. To repair a small Gobelin of 1 meter by 2 meters, 8 hands are needed. The weavers need 400 working hours for each square meter. Light, temperature and dust cause the damage, and so every tapestry has to be restored after 80 years. The holes of time have to be mended, and then the valuable tapestry is cleaned, washed, and the faded motifs restitched. In the 17th century, Gobelins were woven with gleaming silk. Today, fine cotton is used, and some of the matte colours are derived from herbs. The Airoli grandchildren are determined to keep the repair workshop going, so that the gentle shroud of oblivion does not irretrievably swallow up the studio completely. At present, the workshop's not doing so well. The general economic situation is poor, but we'd never think of giving it up, never. The family tradition is sacred to us.
You know the sensation when a shudder goes down your spine and you get this sort of creepy feeling? Well, I don't want to terrify you or anything, but I would like to take you for a walk through the mystic, romantic park of secrets.
The spirits I summoned, they will not go away, Goethe's Sorcerer's Apprentice complained. But here there seem to be not only spirits, but also real monsters following us on our way with their petrified grimaces. About 70 kilometers north of Rome is the Landscape of Souls, created by the great Italian artist Vicino Orsini in 1552. Orsini created the Holy Forest as a labyrinth in which ladies could wander until they lost their way. It was, on the one hand, a political rejection of the papacy, and on the other, an architectural expression, with erotic overtones, of his ideology of life. For many centuries it lay dormant and forgotten. Today, however, anyone can go in and explore the symbolism in this park. So we too find ourselves between the moss-covered scenery of stone lopsided houses, nymph temples and giant toads, until we come to our inevitable end and are swallowed into the depths of the throats of demons.
I am standing here in front of the old Pinakothek in Munich. It houses one of the most extensive collections of paintings in Europe. But for collectors with a slightly smaller bank balance, the place to go is Milan. There you will find works of art by major artists at affordable prices. Not genuine, but genuine forgeries.
The fashion centre of Milan is always worth a visit. But it's not always worth its weight in gold, since this Italian city is also a centre for forgeries. The designers of famous brand articles in particular could tell you that only too well. No one feels flattered when their quality articles are copied. Quite the opposite. The leading fashion and luxury producers regularly suffer losses that amount to millions, and their reputations are lost into the bargain. The only exception is the world of art, where today the fraud with art forgeries is enjoying a boom. That this forgery problem knows no bounds is clearly illustrated in the example of Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, whose mysterious smile greets many visitors, and not only those to the Paris Louvre. In the opinion of the experts, about 60% of the artwork in circulation is forged. That is to say, every other piece of art on the market is not an original. Even some of the paintings hanging in the museums may well not be by the master himself. That forgeries can be knowingly interpreted as new art and gain official acceptance is proven by Nuova Arte, the only legitimate gallery of forgeries in Italy. The copy of Toulouse-Lautrec's Dancers at the Moulin Rouge is as much a work of art as the Fantasia Napolitane by Lopez, which the 63-year-old forger, Raffaele Cella, completed in 2 months. Only an exact comparison of the details reveals the forgery. Basically, photographs from art books serve as models for the forgeries. Favourite motifs are Van Gogh's sunflowers, his portrait of Dr. Gachet, or Van Gogh's bedroom in Arles. Forged artwork is more in demand than ever, so be careful. It's easy to be taken in by the counterfeit painters and suffer heavily for it. Even the famous Thyssen collection, apparently, contains a forged Rembrandt. This is the young Italian Silvia Del Secco, one of the best forgers in Europe.
Painting has always been one of my overriding passions. I've been making copies for 4 years now, ever since Danielle, the director of this gallery, approached me. Although a forgery is not creative work of its own, it is still a great challenge for an artist. I must admit that extensive skills are developed and you have to really get inside the old masters. Then you can get a broader knowledge about the great painters and their epoch. Personally, I've specialized in the style of the 16th and the 17th century.
Silvia forges quite legally, and her copies are not hot, but official forgeries with the approval of the public prosecutor. As Vincent van Gogh said, right and wrong cannot exist independently. We continue southwards and are heading directly for the Tuscan city of Florence. The old capital blossomed in 1434 when the rich Medici banking family came to power. We still have plenty of time. Lorenzo de Medici isn't expecting us until later in the afternoon. Tuscany. The name alone seems to melt on the tongue. This charming landscape must undoubtedly be one of the most enchanting in the world. Italy is full of pleasures, and it's not just spaghetti and pizza. In the 1,000-year-old monastery Coltibuono, Lorenzo de Medici, offspring of the famous Florentine aristocratic dynasty, preaches the renaissance of the Italian cuisine, in word and in pictures. Nathalie has long wanted to try out one of the legendary one-week cooking courses.
What would Italy be without its wine and its fine cuisine? I'm really attracted by them, although I'm certainly not a good cook. And that is why I'm going to let myself be instructed by the famous cookery teacher, Lorenza de Medici.
Lorenza, is it possible to learn good cooking in only 1 week?
Oh yes, it's absolutely possible, because what we do is to teach 5 menus. Each day we have a whole menu, and it's very simple, as Italian cooking is. So we start, people go away with 20 recipes or 25 recipes that they learn very well. So you don't know the whole Italian cooking, but you don't at least know 25 good recipes that you can use, of course.
Mm-hmm. In your cookbooks, you're writing about the renaissance of the Italian kitchen. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by renaissance? What is the philosophy?
Well, the idea is how Italian cooking renewed in these years, because once it was very, very important and very rich, and there were lots of spices. Now is more herbs. Instead of spices, we use more herbs, and we don't use so much fat. We use much more olive oil, more healthy things. So in that sense, it's the Renaissance.
And do you have a recipe which is very simple and very easy to explain to our people looking at
Well, I have one very, very easy. Well, you just keep a potato and cut it in, let's say, lengthwise, like this, and almost to the end, and you don't open. And then you slide a bay leaf in here. Mm-hmm. Which is not difficult at all. And it shows and it's nice. Then you just put it in a baking dish with little olive oil in the oven for 1 hour, and it's done. It's very tasty and very simple, and it's very elegant, because you serve this around the meat, and it shows the green, and it's nice, and couldn't be easier, and very healthy also.
The 900-hectare Coltibuono estate, including its unique herb garden, lies halfway between Florence and Siena, in the heart of the famous wine-growing area, Chianti Classico. Here, the aristocratic cookery teacher, Lorenzo de Medici, can enjoy her life well away from the hubbub.
I like Florence, yes, but I really was raised up in Milano. I prefer to stay between Milano and Coltibuono. Florence is in any way a small town, and now it's too many touristic. So I prefer to live in Coltibuono and come here for holidays and for work also, because here is quieter.
In the 15th century, under the patronage of Lorenzo de Medici, the monastery, as well as the city of Florence, achieved wealth and prosperity.
Well, my family comes down from the daughter of Lorenzo il Magnifico. And she was, her name was Lucrezia, and she married another cousin, also de Medici. And so they started our family, the Medici di Ottaviano. We just come from Lorenzo il Magnifico, who was not from the main family. You know, the family was the one of Cosimo. They started in Florence. They were bankers in Florence, yes. And they ran for many, many years. And then the last Medici of the main three was Anna Maria Ludovica, who was the Principessa Palatina. She was in Düsseldorf. And so when she was the last Medici left, so she went back to Florence, and she gave all the goods of the de Medici to Florence. So that's why all what she possessed, so Palazzo Pitti, gli Uffizi, all the treasures of the Medici, and whatever was given by Anna Maria Ludovica.
Coltibuono is especially famous for its medieval wine cellars. The huge old barrels of chestnut and oak have a capacity of 240,000 litres of the Chianti Classico that Lorenzo the Magnificent loved so much. Wine culture is also something that's taught in the weekly course, as well as the fine Cucina Alto Borghese.
Well, I used to be a fashion editor for a magazine many years ago, and then when I married, I had children, I wanted to write cooking recipes, because I liked it, it was nice for me, and I know how to cook very well. So I decided to give cooking classes. They were they are very famous in the US, and very popular and very elegant and very in to make cooking classes. So I have a great success and I have lots of people coming, 10 weeks a year.
Lorenza praises each and every one of her guests as they leave. It's now up to them to demonstrate the renaissance of Italian cuisine.